Rasulullah, they say Khums is annulled. Khums becomes finished. This was a privilege in the time of Rasulullah, and now this privilege has finished. And in support of this, they say that during the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there's an ayah in the Quran in Surah Hashr which is regarding the subject of faith. And those of you who last year remember the topic which we covered on Fadl, I recited to you ayat of the Quran of Surah Hashr which talks about this concept. Anything which comes into the custody of Rasulullah which has not been fought for, there has been no riding of camels, there have been no riding of horses, it has been surrendered to Rasulullah, then that becomes purely the property of Rasulullah. And this is called fay. And they say because fay, this concept in the Quran, has been annulled with the passing of Rasulullah, this exactly the same concept they apply to whom? To Khums as well. Saying that this was speciality which during the time of Rasulullah the Sayyids had, the family of Ahlul Bayt had, but with the passing away, the demise and the death of Rasulullah, this also has finished. And I will show to you that this is not the case. This is contradictory to the Quran and to the Hadith. As I said before, I will use our brothers as evidence. When that evidence is presented, I don't have to present evidence from the Shias. So, with the death of the Prophet, do the poor of the Ahlul Bayt become ghani? Just because Rasulullah has died? No, they're still poor. The orphans of the family of Ahlul Bayt, the families of Jafar, the families of Abbas, and the orphans from this family, which there were, do they all of a sudden become non-orphans because Rasulullah has died? No. Their need is still there. They're still poor. They still have a need. With the death of the Prophet, it doesn't mean that their needs have finished. Their needs are still there. So, I will show to you, inshallah, that this need remained, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam knew of this need. Then, the beauty of these two taxes, Zakat and Khums. Zakat is something which is applicable upon agriculture and livestock. Basically, it surrounds farmers in our modern time. It doesn't affect me, and it doesn't affect anybody I see amongst this audience. Zakat. Because it is mainly to do with agriculture. Agriculture. And when a farmer reaches a nisab, a certain level of agriculture, then zakat becomes incumbent upon him. Okay? It becomes incumbent upon him. It becomes wajib upon him when it reaches a certain degree. 2.5% we know. So that is calculated. So it is taxed at source. Zakat is taxed at source. Do you understand that? Zakat, no. It is basically the farmer whose responsibility it is to give that zakat. So it's taxed at source. He's the landowner, he is the owner of the livestock, he is the one who has to pay that to the collectors of zakat, to the state. To the state. As long as it is an Islamic state. And inshallah I will touch upon this subject as well regarding why the state, the first government, used this concept of the state being the owners of zakat and took out armies to kill those people who refused to pay zakat. And I will touch upon this subject as well. So, zakat is something basically the farmer has an obligation to pay. Now, this is tax at source. It is your or farmer's responsibility. He has made efforts to cultivate his land. He had made efforts to make one sheep into 100 sheep through natural progression. He has made all these things happen. and then he has to pay some of the sheep, some of these camels, some of these agricultural products as zakah. This is actually the sweat of his hands. And giving zakat purifies his soul. It purifies his nafs, his purification of himself by giving zakat. But khums is unique. Khums is unique in the sense that you've done your livelihood, you have done your occupation, you have done your business, you have taken out all your yearly expenses. You've gone to Hajj that year, you've gone to Ziyarat that year, you've done all your weddings, your deaths in the family. MashaAllah, I don't hope anything this happens to anybody, but death is a part of natural progress in life and natural things in life. So we have to accept that. And the expenses of death, that has all been paid. And then after 1 year, whatever you decide that year is going to be, it might be your birthday, it might be the first of Muharram, it might be the first year of the Islamic calendar, or might be the first day of the Gregorian calendar, the Christian calendar. Whatever you decide the date to be, that is your date. And after you have decided what you have left as your profit, after you've taken all your expenses out, then you give 20%. 20% of that profit. This is purification of your wealth. Marked difference.